In part one of this series, we tackled the essentials, the basics that are required to get your strife that has been collecting dust in your drawer, or perhaps you may have just thrifted it, up to speed with a healthy 110 120 FPS performance out of a standard rewire with a 2S battery pack. Today we're going to focus on maximum performance to the dollar. In other words, everything you would need to turn your ordinary AA strife into something that you can get out there and do some competitive PvP or some high FPS HVZ in a matter of no time and with very limited resources. Most of the stuff you can acquire or even make at home. Let's get into it. If you're new here, thank you for visiting. If you do find this video informative, I'd appreciate if you hit the like button. It helps more people just like yourself reach this valuable material and also benefit from it as much as you are. We're doing a big giveaway at 4,000 subscribers, so if you'd like to be a part of that, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button. We would love to have you as part of this community. You also might want to follow us on Instagram. We post a lot of material there that we do not post on YouTube, usually related to clearances and special bargain alerts, special deals that you can get on blasters. Without further ado, let's get into it. All right, guys, so today we went with the Modulus Strife platform. This modification takes a step up from our previous tier modification involving 3 new elements. Instead of a 2S Li-ion battery, we were able to flush fit a 4S Li-ion battery inside the factory battery compartment with very little modification, usually to the AA tray, and very small modification to the battery door. We'll get into that shortly. But mainly the horsepower of this build is up front here. We got some upgraded motors, we got a new flywheel cage, and we got new flywheels. We did save a lot of money in the choice that we made for these components, and we'll get into that during the video. But first I want to show you the breakdown, the disassembly, the reassembly, take you step by step through everything. Without further ado, let's get into it, guys. All right, guys, for this project, we're going to go with the absolutely most affordable items as we can to make this work with the performance level that we're aiming for at the cost level we're aiming for. So obviously you will need your Nerf Elite Strife. Today we're going to go with the Modulus version. I have like 4 of these, so I figured I could definitely sacrifice one of them for an aggressive mod. We got our 5 amp switch. We got 2 Valkyrie motors, which are currently going for I think $3 each. They're the cheapest motors you can get from out of darts at the moment. Worker 425 cage. It's the highest crush we can get, still being able to fit these motors comfortably. And I went ahead and went with Worker Smooths. I've heard a lot of good things about these flywheels. They actually maintain your dart condition longer than the serrated ones, and they're very quiet, which is something that I always like. I like that stealthy kind of gameplay. We know the motors are going to be loud with this kind of power supply, but it's just nice to have the smoothness and also the accuracy that these flywheels provide. We got our 16 gauge cable. We got our XT60 connector, which is going to be added to the blaster to run rechargeable batteries. And of course, we got our custom 4S battery that I recently built out of the 14500 batteries, which are the Li-ion equivalent of a AA size. XT connector and a balance connector on this. Basically, we're going to repeat everything we did with our 2S stage 1 package. The only difference is we're changing out motors, flywheel, and cage. Let's get into it, guys. All right, guys, quick update. We have mounted our Valkyrie motors. They come with these little tiny screws to secure them into the cage. I went ahead and added some red Loctite. I know it's probably a little bit of overkill, but we do not want these vibrating loose ever. We want to install these fire and forget kind of scenario here. We just want this to be a secure setup. Basically, I already marked the polarity of the motors to make sure that both flywheels are spinning in a direction that ejects a dart, counterclockwise for the lower wheel and clockwise for the upper wheel. Going to go ahead and wire our leads, and then I'm going to press in the flywheels and mount them on our Strife. Let's get into it, guys. All right, guys, I'm not sure what happened to the audio from this clip. I might have mistakenly muted the microphone using my chin. It's happened before, so I'm going to try my best to voice over it because this is a very important part of this mod. Now, when I was trying to sit the cage, I noticed that it wouldn't sit all the way into the screw recesses, so I realized that there are probably some molds behind here that are meant for the factory motors, which are not necessarily smaller than the Valkyries, but their contacts are in the back of the motors facing rearward, whereas the factory contacts are facing to the side. So I figured that could possibly be the cause of some clearance issues on the back. Ultimately, what's required here is you have to shave down these 2 little molds that sit behind the motor cages. These 2 little plus sign looking little molds here. We're going to go ahead and grind these down flat, make it look nice and clean. And then we're going to come back, sit our cage, make sure it fits, and proceed with the project. Let's get it, guys. All right, guys, we are rewired. We deleted our jam door switch. We deleted our mag inserted switch. Rev switch is working okay. I tested polarity. We got our flywheels pointing in the right direction. We ran our cables through this slight hole right here with our XT60. Now we're just gonna test fit our 4S battery, and if all works out great, we're gonna put her back together. Let's get into it. All right, guys, here we are with the Modulus Strife final test. I have the battery connected. Our 4S fits really nicely in this AA chamber. Just have to shave these center ribs like we did on our 2S orange Strife. We just have to shave these two little ribs down. Very easy to do with a Dremel. And then this cover will sit flush right on top of this battery. Reason is because the battery pack is actually flush here with this wrap. The AA's sit far apart enough that these two ribs can go in between them and actually secure the AA's down. In the case of our 14500 lithium ion cells, we have an actual pack, so we won't be needing these ribs anymore. Otherwise, she purrs pretty healthy. Good to go. We are going to go ahead and put this shell together, and then you know what time it is. It's mini range time. Let's get it. All right, guys, we got our flush door. Looks just like a Strife, doesn't it? Not so much. Let's go. All right, guys, good old Chili's loaded up in the old Hellfire mag. Got our 4S Stage 4 upgraded Modulus Strife. Let's do a little bit of group plinking. You can see the dart dust coming out of the muzzle. Insane. All right, guys, let's do a little bit of standard plinking. Guys, so there you have it, 150 FPS out of full-length darts. I might make a future follow-up to this video using a half-length conversion, which is extremely easy. I already have an idea of what I want to do to the pusher to allow it to have greater length to push half-length into the flywheels. That's not a big deal, but I'm just surprised and extremely satisfied that this blaster was able to reliably feed full-length darts at that performance and speed. I was blasting with this pretty much all Labor Day weekend, testing with it. I must have put like 600 rounds out of this. Motors never had any weird smell. All the mechanics just work flawlessly. I couldn't even be more happy, and I'm really surprised these batteries are not even that high capacity. They're about 600 milliamp. I was able to play around at least for an hour before any signs of dying started happening. So I can only imagine in the future, I plan on building some 900 milliamp 4S battery packs and see where that takes us. Guys, don't forget, we got our merch store now open. All those shirts that you guys been asking me about with the Not Enough and Let's Get It and Stay Blasting Foam Fam and all that stuff. Link down below in the description for our merch shop. I appreciate you guys visiting and watching. If you found this video informative and you loved it, you're definitely gonna like this one. I'll catch you in the next one. Stay blasting, Foam Fam.